Yeah, Vinay.
your today's Facebook post about patience, that
Yes.
if you aim to address it, it's so when you had come to Thane and we were at the lake and there was this inquiry session that was to happen after that.
Hmm.
And I was getting perturbed that, we have to reach on time. And I was pacing up the marketplace where we were just before that.
Mhm.
And I saw that you were pretty relaxed. And then later on, whenever I have been in those situations, I would try to aid your response that
Hmm.
I will try to be patient, instead of
Hmm. Hmm.
it as a byproduct. And
Hmm.
I can relate that just as in, body, physical body. If
Hmm.
we try to address a particular thing, it's a symptomatic approach. And
Yes.
the overall conservation of energy, if that is the holistic way of doing, and that would as a byproduct. So
Hmm.
inquiry in this case would be like addressing the whole. And yeah.
Yes. Ultimate conservation of energy, actually, the inquiring mind.
Mm,
Happens when you are inquiring. When you are inquiring, that time you are not concluding anything whatsoever.
mm, mm,
Whatsoever, there is no conclusion at all.
yes.
You may have an experience and you are looking forward towards the next experience. You are
Mm,
not stagnated onto any specific experience. That's what is the inquiry. And when we do that, there is no zapping of energy at all in any of the conclusions, because all the opinions, conclusions, beliefs, these are beliefs, actually zap energy, keep on zapping energy. So you are free from that. When you are free from that, then there is a sense of abundance of energy. And with that, you already, so it's going in circle, perhaps, like the point that you raised yesterday, that it doesn't matter how it can be, doesn't matter how all the things can be considered as it doesn't matter. So
my internet seems to be unstable. I'm losing you.
my voice, is
Yeah,
it
it's
better?
like it's not like seamless. So
Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm.
in between, in bits and pieces.
Okay, okay, okay. So that's how.
So you were saying that, can you repeat the last one, the last sentence about how by not concluding you are, there is
Conserving a
evidence.
lot of energy. Conserving a lot of energy, because each conclusions that we make,
Huh.
those conclusions are out of imagination.
Hmm, hmm,
And see, it's absolutely physics. When out of imagination
hmm,
we try to conclude something, a lot of effort is needed, because imagination is not true, untrue. So that is
hmm,
not truth. So I am
hmm,
trying to make that untrue as true.
hmm,
And how do we do that? By converting into converting it into an emotion. Emotion means physiological sensation,
the
and
chemicals.
physiological sensation means matter.
Hmm.
So it was
Formless
a
to form.
non-matter, then it becomes a matter. It's an
Hmm,
achievement within me,
hmm.
and I start feeling pride about it.
And is this what you also meant by that slippery floating thing? I'm just
Yes, yes, yes. When you don't do that, then you are in a slippery state, floating state. That's an abundance of energy, because there is no zapping of energy at the physiological level from the idea.
hmm, hmm,
And due to that abundance of energy, you are too sensitive here of any physical experience. And that's a high potent state. You know,
so for the physical experience, you are
you
sensitive.
are too patent, yeah, because you are not using any pinch of your energy on ideas. There is no imagination that is controlling your sensation. So that means you have abundance of energy. Now, with abundance of energy, you are too sensitive about the physical experiences. And this sensitiveness is the strength of use. You know, because our voice of the organism is this sensitiveness. That sensitiveness gets blunt when it is overused due to the ideation. Then the voice of the organism gets blunt. Like the chili example that we gave, that chili is an irritating substance, and we are programmed and structured to react to it. Like, but with a repeated use of chili in cooking the food, we get blunt. Now, over chili consumption also is not affecting us. So that means because in this domain, the physiological domain, we overuse it. And all these discussions that we are doing, all the inquiries of bits and pieces of emotions, you know, be it fear, be it obsession or excitement. Today, excitement, we had a conversation with Anshu. So ultimately we identify that these are all are coming from idea, and these are ultimately zapping my own energy. So I am fueling it for nothing, because imagination is nothing. Imagination is cannot be claimed as truth, but we are processing it as a truth. And there comes the explanation of why it is being proposed that it doesn't matter. Matter is this: anything, any event, when we give special importance to that event. So this special importance means we are bringing the matter from the non-matter, because the importance and like more importance or less importance, these all are ideas that we build upon something. And those those ideas are converted into my belief. That's when we start terming that it does matter.
So for example,
matter means, you understand, matter is this
a chemical
chemical, yeah, chemical domain of the body is a matter. So when we are from idea, when we are bringing an effect on the matter, that time only we start terming that it does matter. Try to connect the physics of it. You know? If it doesn't matter, if it is not affecting onto your physiological sensation, it absolutely doesn't matter.
Quite literally, actually.
Literally, I'm not going metaphorical here. Yeah, you were saying something, I interrupted.
No, so I'm trying to use various examples now. So if I'm staying in a polluted city.
Yes. So I have your the questions. Let me flush it. Yeah.
So where, you know, day in and day out, I'm breathing in the polluted air. So, and as it is, if I'm not getting engaged in the idea domain through the perception-based sensations, then I would become any which way physically sensitive to the reception. So, you know, what would be the options available in that case?
Yeah. So, hypothetically, let's inquire about a region, geographical region, which is considered to be non-polluted. In that region, suppose you are in a room and you are outside. If you compare the room and the outside, then you'll find the outside is maybe
Breezy.
less polluted, or maybe higher polluted. Suppose outside just one car has gone pass by, and the exhaust air made that particular area polluted. Then the outside is more polluted than the inside. So these kind of drifting will keep happening.
Hmm.
Now, if we are just identifying mathematically, okay, this black air, exhaust air is making this particular area polluted. This is a mathematical identification. The moment this particular act of taking a car pass by, or a car, when you start hating that car because of making that particular area polluted, then it becomes a matter.
Yes.
Are you able to distinguish this?
It reminds me of the conversation we had about feeling claustrophobic in a room, where it's a mind, perception based thing that, there's some hatred element
Yes, yes.
vis-a-vis
Which
that
actually
actually
starts zapping the energy.
identifying that yes, it's congested and it's more congested than what it would have been had we been perhaps outside.
Yes.
That's the fact. But
And that fact is not bringing any sensation in me, extra sensation. I may be physically, I may feel suffocated
yes.
in a congested room.
Hmm.
But whether that particular being in that congested room is bringing some extra element in my sensation from the idea or not, that I am suffocated. I'm getting lesser fresh air in this congested room, the room where more people are there. These all are facts. But the moment you bring an emotional element, that I am suffocated, so there's a tonal difference, I get lesser fresh air.
Yeah. So once when one identifies that, say, one is actually staying perhaps in a crowded street with a lot of pollution, and it's the exposure to it is much more, and there is no element of hatred, then nor there is something that I want to. So one may then eventually look for alternatives, right, to shift somewhere. Or
So what happens here, the primary assumption that we lead ourselves into, that unless we are obsessed about it or we are very much emotional about it, will not be acting. And that's utterly an assumption, that we cannot act without these emotional outbursts. Are you able to pinpoint?
so yes, so eventually one may end up taking some steps to mitigate the situation.
Yeah,
But
so
that is
you
not,
tell me, what
yes.
is your observation? Any organism will try by default, will try to go to a state of higher energy conservation. So if you have an option to go to a space where the congestion is lesser, you will be drifting towards that automatically, organically. You need not to plan for it.
And because of, say, familial circumstances, one is not able to make that shift. Then also one may not feel compromised in the existing situation.
Yes,
even
so
though one identifies the fact that
yeah. So like whenever we are bringing an idea that I have to definitely go, then it is a pressure, then it is a burden. Then even if you are going, that is not a natural going, that is an intentional, you are bringing an intentional shift. And that will in any way bringing another loop within, another burden on the energy. So when we actually identify that it doesn't matter if I am here also, then the shift starts happening. And if it is not happening, then also it doesn't matter. So I was curious to inquire with you on this, the second one, that to maintain integrity of Sai Solution Alumni WhatsApp group, for you as an admin, would it not matter if someone is commenting and breaking the guidelines? So here, suppose somebody is breaking the guidelines and mathematically I am identifying it. And I am just removing that individual from the WhatsApp group. Now, what is my processing about it? That matters most, actually, matters the most. How am I processing it? Like, am I processing this removal with hatred or being curious? And still, when I'll be meeting that individual, I'll be meeting as I was meeting otherwise also, or not. That's very important. Like whether I have hatred towards that individual, and when I meet next time, then there is hatred. Why did you do this in the WhatsApp group? Kind of hatred. You understand that, right?
Yes.
That's one layer. And second layer, if I am obsessed about psi solution itself, then also it is another idea that I'm zapping. So the question is, am I ready to dissolve psi solution at any moment? If it is dissolving, not to intentionally distracting, but if it gets dissolved, am I fixated about psi solution? So that's a second layer of clarity. You know, whether it matters or not, like whether this particular happening matters, that event matters. That's the first layer. And second layer, on the basis of what this event is occurring, whether that particular entity
Is a fixation.
I'm whether it matters to me or not. That's a big question, bigger question. I have to have a clarity about this, because these all are incidental. The term size solution, the group size solution, these are not ultimate thing. If I am fixated about it, no, I have to establish size solution as a big organization or blah blah blah, whatever happens, you know. Then it becomes a matter for me and zapper for me, energy zapper.
So now one more example that comes to mind is, say, one's son is taking, say, drugs, or one is into porn. You get to know that your child is into porn. And
into porn.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
watching
yes.
Pornography. So when we say it doesn't matter, again, in that case, you approach it knowing that the child is a separate individual in his or her own right, and my P2 and P3 are different from his. So why would I again get disturbed knowing this?
So getting disturbed will happen at the P2 level. Getting disturbed will not happen at P3. P3 will give you awareness when you identify, when you get to know that your child is into pornography.
Yes.
That time your P3 is expanded, because this particular fact was unknown to you. Now you know it.
Yes.
So the expansion of awareness happens. Now this expansion of awareness, if is governed or influenced by any idea, further idea, that this particular act of my son is detrimental for my son. He is a spoiled brat now. So all these are conclusions. I'm drifting from P3 psychological domain to P2 physiological domain. Are you able to identify this? So there the inquiry, the state of inquiry, that floating state, that I'm curious to know, and so not to confront or just to thrash my son. I'm not going to converse, but I'm definitely interested to converse with my son together, that from which source you got this, and now what is your processing about it. All these things with inquiry, with no demeaning, no thrashing, no insulting, just to be friend. So he might end up thinking that you are now going to like give some punishment or something like that. But your approach will actually explain that you are not from that space. You are curious, still curious, and you are not.
I lost you last line. Sorry.
Yeah. So
The approach.
your approach will actually convince the child that you are not from that space of thrashing or punishing you. You are identifying that this is an unnatural act, but that doesn't mean that you as an individual are to be hated. I don't have a pinch of hatred towards you despite your unnatural act, and that doesn't mean that I am trying to conceal your unnatural act. I'm trying to deny your unnatural act. This is an unnatural act. That's it. Now, with my understanding, this is an unnatural act. Let's converse now. If you wish to establish that this is a natural act, or this can be done, this is not affecting my life or something like that, one may try and establish.
Yes.
Same food, unnatural food, natural food. So similar kind of conversation can happen.
Yes. So it's a very thin line, because like you mentioned that we may end up concealing also, not actually addressing the issue, and try to have that bond, but
Yes.
at the same time bringing both the sides, the fact also on the table, and at the same time making it clear that there is no judgment.
So bringing an active inquiry about it. Bringing an active inquiry about it, that this fact is in front of us. Now, to my understanding, that this is a load on your energy at this level, or at any level for that matter, if it is a pornography. So that's my understanding, and I am curious to know your processing about it, so that I can bring some more awareness for myself, which I am not able to look at perhaps. So I am actually curious to know from you, what is your processing and what is your deeper understanding about it. So can I bring this element, this culture of conversation, inquiring conversation within
genuinely
families?
becomes a two-way communication, because then if you're going with some agenda, then it's like
Yes.
becomes a one-sided.
Yes, yes. And absolutely agendaless conversation, just to know further and know further, not to reach a destination to de-addict my child from pornography. That's not the objective. That will be a byproduct with the conversation. May happen, may not happen, never know. But naturally, we are equipped to conserve energy. That has to be understood, because the proposal comes that if you don't have aim, if you don't have opinion, then how and why you will be acting. The fact of the matter is that we cannot stay idle if we achieve a state of inquiry, because so much of energy you will be having, that energy will be flowering into action.
In this regard, about the conversation with the child, I wanted to ask about, the other day, I was chit-chatting with Advait, and he mentioned about, so it was a conversation between me and Kedar, which he was overhearing. It was about a stock that Kedar and I both had invested in, and that particular stock, and that particular stock the price got doubled in a month's time or so, which Kedar exited that stock. He had quite a chunk and he was regretting that.
Okay, but decision. You didn't.
And I said that I have not even really checked the price. In between, I keep on knowing about the price of that particular stock, but I'm not checking on a regular basis. But I'm aware, and I still have. For me, the amount is minuscule, but it's not really a matter that it's not. I'm not going. It's not mattering, for me in that sense. So Advait
whether it is going up or down.
Up or down. So Advait was saying that why should one not get excited, about anything? Like even in his context, it would be when I'm winning a game of my like a cricket, then why should I not get excited?
Mhm.
So how would you talk to a child about the energy conservation part? And because I feel that that would still require some understanding of the framework too.
Yeah. So here the excitement, the understanding of excitement versus the knowing, one has to identify. That's why these three layers to be identified as early as possible is beneficial to understand the complete framework. That we have these three layers of existence: physical, physiological, and psychological.
Hmm.
If it is uh, connected in order P1, P2, P3, then it is a conserving order.
Hmm.
If, because these all things, the stock going up and down, these are formless, just ideas coming in
Imaginary,
from
yes.
imaginary things coming in at the P3 level.
Hmm.
Now from the P3 level, you can sell or buy the stock P1,
Yes.
P3 to P1. But the moment from P3 to P2 you are bringing in terms of excitement, in terms of depression, that time it is an extra burden that I am creating for myself. And the stock market is not going to be changed.
Hmm.
And my state of being otherwise, the external things are not going to be changed. I am just zapping my own energy
Hmm.
while bringing that excitement due to that P3 element, with understanding. So understanding is a different layer and excitement is a different layer. Bringing this conversation, bringing this element in the conversation might bring some awareness. Okay, excitement is happening here. That is a, like, whatever the loss I am incurring or profit I am incurring in the stock market, that doesn't matter, but I am making a loss here.
So could a child, a 10-year-old, understand the
May not, but we may use the different phrases, different ways to communicate. That's a, like, we are exploring our own
because
exploration. Yeah.
I was at loss of words to explain that in a any match that he plays, then why
Yeah.
would
So
an
I was
excitement
sharing that montage the day before yesterday. We went to a
boring?
relative, boring. That she used to say that it's boring, boring. Then we started conversing. So it's a way of, she's a 5-year-old now, Advait is 10-year-old. So maybe the term will be different. But what has happened that evening, that she did not felt boring further, because we were inquiring together in that tiny room different elements, isn't it? So if we can bring that element of inquiry, that, are you, for an example, I'm not asking you to copy this, but for an example, Advait, what do you understand about excitement? Can we inquire that? Like, maybe different phrase, but what
Yes.
is your understanding about excitement? When an individual is excited, what he is expected to do,
Hmm.
or from where that excitement comes? So this way we can definitely go deeper onto that aspect, so that going deeper will be making the thing clearer.
On the boring front, can we let the child stay bored instead of offering say options to come out of it?
Yeah,
And
obviously
see what it
that's a normal things that she experiences. But on that particular evening, when I and she were just sitting in that small room, uh, yeah, you were saying, you were right on that if I had an objective to dissolve her boring, which I cannot, her state of being bored. So that's perhaps mirroring to herself, and trying to see what inquiry brings in, whether it brings me more state of boredom, or it dissolves my boredom. That's perhaps was the core foundation of it. I need to think deeper about it, like whether I had an objective to dissolve her boredom, or there was an inquiry about checking that what is going to happen to this boredom. Hmm.
And just this morning, I was seeing a video of a friend who has created a micro forest in a city.
Okay.
Now, I was looking at it that when someone is involved in a project, and it is at some level they are so-called, impacting the environment. Uh, So the processing of the people who are doing it, the volunteers, would be that if if I do it, it doesn't matter. If I don't do it, it doesn't matter. That if we are meaning that matter as the internal chemistry, the biochemistry, but uh, in the overall scheme of things, it would matter, right? In the sense for the people who are around the oxygen. I mean, if I say oxygen, then it's a very part of this. But the fresh air, the people who would be able, would it not have an impact? Can be.
So what it is? It is your understanding, or it is your belief?
Understanding that in some small
Then it is
way,
not a matter, right? Understanding is not a matter. If it is your understanding, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That way.
So
it is not bringing a load. It is not bringing a load onto you. Are you able to comprehend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because so I'm, as a volunteer, I may not feel that wow, I'm doing something great for the city. And at the same time, if this attempt that I'm making, if the trees say fall off or something, then even that is not going to impact me at the physiological domain. My whole idea is to see where it's, again, how it's unfolding the future. Then I don't think it would be affect, right? Because I wanted to get clarification. For example, I've seen Rakhi using a steel straw instead of the plastic one, or the so if everyone starts thinking that it doesn't matter in that sense, that what happens if I'm doing it at an individual. So now I'm understanding that matter, when we are talking about it, an individual level, is the chemical, our own matter, not the matter at the society level. But
that's the understanding aspect. So you end up doing a conserving act naturally, actually. Actually, it is a natural knack of an individual to do a conserving act where the energy is being conserved. Now, with an inquiring approach, we will be able to identify that this conservation is just a fake sense of conservation or actual conservation, like the pleasure that we have while consuming a pizza is a fake sense of conservation, which is very tasty, but it is a load onto our physiology. But having the sense of pleasure while having a mango is actual conservation. So inquiring will help us that whether this sense of conservation is coming from modification or unmodified natural fact. So that exploration of that fact and going deeper to the layers of the fact will drive me naturally by default towards the conservation only. That time I will end up facilitating an act which is maybe a permaculture. I end up doing that without much planning or much applauding about it, because I'm curious. I'm not concluding that permaculture is a wow thing and it is the only thing. That kind of conclusion is not there. It's a curiosity that how much conservation can happen through this. So the actual conservation. So voice of the organ, identification of the natural voice of the organism is the key here.
And at times, like yesterday, I was feeling some sensations which I could not explain the source of. Like some heaviness in the head in the afternoon, or so it can be interpreted as the balancing that's happening, which is beyond my perception. That's
Yeah, yeah.
happening in the
At that state of being, only single resort that one can do is resting. You know, if you are not easily identifying the source of it, then definitely it is something happening beyond your understanding. At the physiological level, some adjustment or some pressure. So resting will bring back your awareness about it.
So you're saying that then one may be able to even go to the source of that particular sensation, which
May. Yeah. Because that will bring a lot of clarity. Yeah. I think good enough for others, like Shilpi requested for this recording, but we might end up uploading in the same playlist because it's a valid inquiry. Continuation of our previous yesterday's inquiry about obsession. Right. Thank you, Binal. I'm stopping the recording now.